There was a turn that I had to take with the wheelchair, and during that turn, my thumb went and got stuck in the wheel, and it broke. It broke and my nail snapped off also, and I was bleeding. And I pushed myself and I completed the shot. Especially in our industry, I get to meet a lot of people who do a lot of theory. There's a lot of impractical talk out here. We only give a lot of information. There's, in Hindi when we say ज्ञान बहुत बांटते हैं, तो ज्ञान बांटना बंद करो, काम करो. With great excitement, my mom took the paper, and there was a big zero. And she's like, "But ma'am, he's written so much. There are about 8 supplements on this paper of his." She's saying, "Yes, ma'am, he's written brilliantly, but he's written everything but history." Working on the sets, I go back home, and she waits for Papa, because Papa has this one energy for her, and yeah, she's got a lot of tantrums, mood swings, and she's gone on her father.
Hello guys, today we have with us the supremely talented brother duo of Bollywood who are all set to give us the biggest mystery thriller, Bypass Road. It's none other than the actor who refuses to age, Nitin Mukesh, and debutant director Nitin Mukesh. Hello guys, welcome to India Film.
Thank you.
So guys, since we know Neil, you have written the film. So was it your idea to get Naman on board, or was it Naman's idea that to get you on the board?
Well, so after I finished writing the first draft of the film, I got Naman on to one of my sessions of writing and discussing with him, and I treated him as my bouncing board for a while. But what he came back with was what shocked me actually, because technically he's so well aware of how technology is supposed to be used today. The kind of freshness and a perspective that he got on board was very nice. I didn't want the regular thriller. I wanted a very international looking thriller, but boasting about Indian culture and Indian drama, and rooted to India and to showcase India's beauty, because generally we like to go and make a thriller at one of the Western countries, maybe somewhere abroad, so that the look and the feel looks like as if it looks like an international film. I believe that if you have the technical knowledge and the expertise, you can have the same kind of look and feel created in an Indian film. And when Naman got that perspective on board for me, I offered the film to him. I was skeptical whether he would say yes or no, to be very honest. He instantly said yes, and then of course I gave him the chance to ask him whether he wanted to cast me or maybe cast somebody else. But then again, he was sweet enough to have said that I'd like you to play the lead, and that's how it all started.
Okay, so Naman, coming to you now, since he said that he came to you with the project. So were you skeptical at any point, should I do it, should I not do it? Were there any thoughts like that?
I think after skepticism is what really matters, is because the final push that you need, came from him. And he was the one who said, if you need to learn how to swim, you have to jump into the pool. And that's what really hit me. There's no amount of assisting or being an associate director that I can do and then finally say, okay, now I'm ready to be a director. So I don't think that was even a thought that crossed my mind, because also I know that I have him behind me. He's been behind me not only for work throughout my career, but also he's been there as a pillar of support in life as a whole. So I had no second thoughts about it at all.
Generally, people have this whole thing of, and especially in our industry, I get to meet a lot of people who do a lot of theory. There's a lot of impractical talk out here. We only give a lot of information. There's, in Hindi when we say ज्ञान बहुत बांटते हैं, तो ज्ञान बांटना बंद करो, काम करो. तो इससे अच्छा कि मैं किसी से कहूँ कि कहानी ऐसे होनी चाहिए, या and all of that it's very passe for me. So I said, let me just write the film, and so quietly I wrote the film. Similarly, I always teach Naman. I said, don't need to go out there and start getting into a circle where people will say that you're not of the correct age to start working. Of course, you're 26 years old. You don't want to become 90 years old and try and make your directorial debut, because by 90 you would have learnt a lot. There is no day and age of learning here. Every day is a learning process. So till you don't really jump into the water and learn how to swim, it's basically stop the theory and become practical. and I think his approach is great, and he was quite sharp about that, confident about it, and yeah, we made the gutsy move to make a feature film. So it's quite a proud moment for us that people boast about wanting to make a film. We quietly went there and made a fantastic thriller. To handle the genre at this young age, especially like a thriller, it's very, very difficult. It needs you to have the knowledge, not just technically, but in general also. Especially with the drama, one needs to understand human behavior to a much greater level. So I think in that retrospect, Naman's done a fantastic job.
Okay, so moving ahead, Naman, at any point were you afraid or nervous to yell at Nitin कि नहीं यार ये scene ऐसा नहीं करना, मुझे ऐसा करना है?
I never had the opportunity to yell at anybody, and especially
No, but
not
he
at
can.
him.
No, he can yell at me.
Like I could have. I mean, see, when it comes
His
to
yelling
creative,
is also very soft,
see,
Please. That's the maximum yelling that Naman does.
Yeah, I saw it the moment I entered, and he looks very cute even while yelling कि नहीं मुझे नहीं करना है.
Means poor guy is so frustrated with me being a tyrant on set, But because I was the writer, because I dominate him in the sense, because I'm also his elder brother, I take full advantage. But I don't think did I let you not yell at me?
No,
can.
it's not that he didn't let me. I didn't get the chance to. I didn't get the chance to also because he's the writer himself. He already knows what is needed, what needs to be done. Plus, we've done such a great amount of homework, right down to the shots. In fact, I have to bring this out that not a lot of writers give you a script that is so ready to be shot. In the sense, he writes in a way with a short breakdown. So, I mean, for me, it was such a boost that I didn't have the chance to even second guess what needs to be done.
I guess I would agree to this because yesterday when we were interviewing Shama, so she told us कि नितिन मतलब वो बैठे-बैठे स्टोरी बना देंगे और आप कन्विंस भी हो जाओगे when you scared her.
That he's too fast. He's too fast with that.
Yeah, sometimes people wonder whether I'm a very convincing storyteller. And that's, generally when people say that, I used to wonder for all these years, why haven't I used this art and craft of mine to practical use up till
Gift
now?
of the gab.
Why am I following that whole practice and not preaching thing of theory and not being practical? So I said, instead of bartering gyan again, I think I should also go out there and prove myself. But jokes apart, I think for me, storytelling has happened ever since I was a child. I was a terrible student, and but all my teachers loved me because they would love reading my papers. I remember my history teacher once calling my mother to school, and she said, "Mrs. Mathur, that's your son's history paper." And she said, "Wow!" And with great excitement, my mom took the paper, and there was a big 0 out of 100. And my mom was like, "What happened?" And she's like, "But ma'am, he's written so much. There are about 8 supplements on this paper of his." She's saying, "Yes, ma'am, he's written brilliantly, but he's written everything but history." I would make my own stories up even then. For me, it was all about about stories being told. And somewhere I knew that eventually in my life I would want to go out there. See, how much ever education is important. I'm not saying Naman and I aren't educated. We are also very worldly wise, and that is important. So in this film you will see our experience not about just being bookworms, but actually being very hard-working young boys who started at a very young age. I started working at the age of 14, 15. Naman did so too. At 15 he started working. But our experience and our knowledge about the craft is something that you will definitely see.
Nuri is going to be very lucky to have a daddy who's always on toes to tell her a convince.
Yeah. She spots about me because no matter how tired I am in the day, promoting the film or working on the sets, I go back home and she waits for Papa because Papa has this one energy for her. And my wife has to constantly, she constantly tells me, she's like, I'm there through the day with her. But the moment she sees you, there's this glint in her eye and this energy. How do you manage to? I said, well, some things come naturally. And my wife is a little jealous of it, but it's fine.
But Nurvi really is a happy-go-lucky child. We see her videos, touch wood, yeah. We see her videos. Of course, she's just
Full masti khor.
She's a people's person,
Full people's person. And yeah, she's got a lot of tantrums, you know, mood swings, and she's gone on her father. Yeah. So yeah.
okay. You know, moving towards which has been the most difficult scene to pull off, because when we saw the trailer, we ourselves felt यार ये कैसे किया होगा, ये कैसे किया होगा.
I think the entire film in totality was very difficult. But I think for you and for me, I think apart the I think there are a couple of sequences, not one, but I can, you speak about your sequence for you, which was difficult. Physically, the whole film for me was a big challenge because, you know, I wrote it lavishly thinking that, oh, you know, wow, that's bravado in the writing. But when I went to execute it, it was very dangerous. And I really got scared many a times shooting it, because to get that whole experience out there, to entertain an audience, to what extent an actor has to really push himself, nobody really understands what goes into making of that sequence. So there was one sequence that I've written down where Vikram Kapoor, the paraplegic that I'm playing in the film, he's this fashion prodigy who meets with an accident, comes back home on a wheelchair. From a victim of an accident becomes the suspect of a murder that had happened on the same night as his accident. And there's somebody out there to sabotage his career, his life, and come back to kill him. There is some presence lurking around him who wants him dead. So there was one sequence such in the film where, you know, very iconic, every Alfred Hitchcock sequence, we are all inspired by, you know, Alfred Hitchcock, would have a bathtub sequence. But Naman and I wanted to make our own iconic bathtub sequence. So we didn't want to ape any of the already done classics that we have. We wanted to make our own. So we said, let's push the envelope a bit. So we designed the sequence where I'm suspended up on a harnessed apparatus. It's made it, and we've done some R&D. It's actually when a man goes back to his home, their homes are converted for their convenience when he's unfortunately disabled. So these apparatuses are there for him to conveniently have a bath, or for his caretakers to take care of them. So in this sequence, I'm suspended on an apparatus like this, waiting for my caretaker to come, and suddenly the apparatus snaps. But it snaps only from one section, and my head goes down in the water and I start choking. And I'm struggling to get myself out of this bathtub, and the chains out there are so heavy, but the chains let loose, they break, they snap, and the chains start coming down on me, and I keep going under the water and I start drowning. So for me, while writing it, it was like, wow, major thriller, you know, in writing. But when it came to acting it out and executing it, I was like, there's so much water that would gush up my head. So after every shot, literally, sometimes they would not know whether I'm really acting it out or whether I'm actually getting water gushed in my head. So that was scary for me. 3 days of doing that. Oof, let's not talk of it. That gets the chill down my spine, yeah.
Naman, would you like to add something?
I think that's the sequence that I was talking about, and it's not just about how we executed it, but even on a writing stage, the amount of detail that he put into writing that sequence, because we wanted to make, you know, one sequence that really makes everybody so involved in it. The way we had to design our shots for that sequence, we had to be so careful to give him, first of all, give him the space to move. You know, inside a confined bathroom.
In a bathtub.
Inside a bathtub where you have just probably one way to shoot, which is right from above him. We had to still manage to give him the space to act, react, and if he needs to come out.
Cinematically, what happens is sometimes you want the experience of what the protagonist is going through. So we needed to also construct a bathtub and elevate myself to fit the camera below the bathtub, so that you have a perspective of what's happening above him. So the shot breakdown had happened brilliantly. We also storyboarded the entire sequence out. It was phenomenal. Ooh, I'm actually getting scared. Also, the dangerous thing was that the hands were tied. So when the hands are tied and you're struggling in the bathtub, you let go of it, you start pulling chains. That time,
Even your legs were tied.
my legs were also tied.
His legs were also tied. So he
Yeah.
was diagonally down this way with his head submerged in water, legs tied, hands tied.
Yeah.
And then we had to shoot that sequence.
That was bad. But that was scary. But there was another very tough sequence in the film which I found physically very tough. Is the second half. The second half of the film is all about him and Vikram's survival instincts beating in, because now there's a masked man who comes inside the house to kill him. Now the survival instinct of a paraplegic, of this disabled man, goes out there, and how he wants to just survive this. So what all his mind would tell him, how much of an energy would he push him. So I needed that to come across in my character as well, that he had to be very alert with his mind also, but at the same time physically challenging himself over the overcoming the boundaries that he needs to pass by. So in that, the manual wheelchair was used, and so there's one sequence where the masked man is running behind me with a knife to kill me, and I'm trying to survive that and pushing myself in forward. There was so much of an energy on the set. Automatically people were like, come on, in that whole rush, that adrenaline rush that I also had, I went even faster. But there was a turn that I had to take with the wheelchair, and during that turn my thumb went and got stuck in the wheel, and it broke. It broke and my nail snapped off also, and I was bleeding, and I pushed myself and I completed the shot. Naman came running, he heard me scream. My team instantly, Wasim Bhai, Vicky, they came, they cleaned my blood up, they put a bandage and stuff instantly. It was in the middle of the night, we couldn't even rush to the hospital to get that, but the damage was done. So I asked him, I said, did you get the shot? He said, don't worry, we'll do it another day. I said, what do you mean? I was so upset that maybe he hadn't gotten the shot, and we can't afford it's his first film. If he's not convinced, I have to do it again. But he was like, let's shoot it another day. I said, listen, it's already broken. I can't really do anything about it. Maybe the pain has already now reached its peak. So I popped in a painkiller. I dressed my bandage up right there, put a stick out there so my finger doesn't hurt, and I said, give me one more shot. So once more we went, and we just about, during the turn I just had a little difficulty, because again that same thing was happening. I was conscious, I pushed myself and we got the shot. Also, the masked man himself, we couldn't afford for that not to happen again, because in this take now the masked man had to also break out of a window and do also. There was too much coordination between not just me. It was also the man who was doing the stunt behind me that I had to take care. Also the technicians and the director. Plus we are all so tired. 35 days of night shoot continuously. Was mad. I became an owl.
So looking forward to the film now. On a lighter note, any other anecdotes? Because we also had Nurvi visiting the set.
Yes, Nurvi.
Pictures and went viral.
So on the last day of the bathtub sequence, my worries instantly went away, because she came on set, and I was very, very happy, that my daughter's come on set. We were stationed in Alibag for very long. So when she was born, Naman and I had gone back only for a day to meet her during her birth. And I used to, every night, Naman and I would sit together, and he's like, so how is she? And I would almost have tears in my eyes, because I was really missing my wife and my daughter. And I really wanted to be there. But he's also my baby, he's my elder baby. And our films are baby. So I said, I have to take care of so many babies, I became very emotional and so surprised, they surprised me. After maybe a couple of days, Rukmini found it correct to get her on set, and she came, and Nurvi came, and I was so happy. They spent a week with us, and yeah, that was
Also recently, Saif Ali Khan revealed in an interview, because his recent film Lal Kaptan's trailer went viral. So he said that Taimur just goes crazy looking at the trailer. So what has been Nurvi's reaction?
Oh my god, I promise you, I was just saying this earlier also, that Nurvi has been, suddenly she has started reacting to me on screen and off screen. So first of all, her most favorite song is So Gaya Ye Jahan. You have to see that girl dance on So Gaya Ye Jahan. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put up a video of Nurvi dancing on So Gaya Ye Jahan. It'll go viral because she really loves that song. And she recognizes my father's voice. You know, she's very close to my father, her grandfather. And she really enjoys dancing on So Gaya. But when she saw the trailer for the first time, she was all the time looking at the screen and going, Papa. And looking at me, Papa. So almost like two papas. What's he doing up there and here? So she's kind of settling down with the fact that she saw New York also recently, of my film New York. And she was like, Papa, Papa. Same way, I mean, even with the trailer. But she is somebody who loves thrillers, I think. Because the way she reacts to thrillers is the way I react to seeing chocolate.
Also Diwali is just around the corner and the film is going to release soon. So what are your plans this Diwali? Especially having Nurvi also around this time.
Diwali is obviously family time. We really wish and want to spend all the time with family. My mother and father are in the US. They're touring there for my father's show. But their love and their affection is always with us. Naman's first debut film, we are all very excited. Of course, this is going to be a day working Diwali for us. Night we'll celebrate with friends and family. Of course, do our puja and go to the office, go to the homes in Bombay that we have and do the pujas everywhere, and hope to bring in all the good luck and the celebrations and all the love from all you lovely people out there.
Lastly, one message for your fans.
We love you. Thank you so much for all the support and all the love. Always, please watch Bypass Road, 1st November 2019. Give him as much love that you've given me for all these years. 12 years, all yours, forever yours.
Thank you.
So guys, that was Neil and Naman with us, and this is Priyanka Chauhan signing off for now with cameraman Babaji and Mangesh, India Forums, Mumbai.
Hey guys, check out our revamped website at www.indiaforums.com to get your daily dose of entertainment.
Hi guys, this is Nitin Mukesh and you're watching me on India Forums.